Doc Emrick joins us, and first of all, thank you so much for carving out some time for us. We greatly appreciate it.
Gosh, Steve, it's great talking to you, and I love talking about old facilities, and the Nittany Lions hockey team will be in another great old one. I think built in the 20s was Yost Fieldhouse, where the Wolverines play in Ann Arbor, play their hockey.
Absolutely. And then I just saw, in fact, when I was at Michigan State doing football a little more than a week ago, I saw Biggie Munn Arena out on the backside of the stadium there, too. So some great old places.
The one that you really missed, and you would have no way of knowing this in fairness, is that just outside Munn Arena is a place called Demonstration Hall. And that was where the Spartans played before that. And to talk to some Spartan hockey athletes about that era, it ended in 1970 when they built Munn. There were no washroom facilities. There were no showers. So they had to dress in the field house where the basketball team played and walk in their sneakers across and carry their skates. If there was some time during the intermission that they had to use the washroom, they had to go in where the paying customers were and get in line and do that. But it's now the ROTC building, but at that time it was where they played, and every seat was obstructed because they had pillars going from the front row up to hold the roof up. Yep. And so every 8 to 10 feet there was a pillar, which meant every seat in the place was obstructed. But it didn't stop them from having pretty good teams.
No, it did not. And they would dress at Jennison Fieldhouse.
You're right. And there were actually guys that would get tossed out of the games and would hide in the bushes and wait to ambush the other guys. It's fascinating. But that's for another time. I'm sorry.
No, don't. We can talk about stuff like that all day long. For you along the way, I'll start with this. As someone who also then teaches sports broadcasting, a class here at Penn State, and I've done it for about 10 years here, if I were to bring you into the class, what would be a couple of things that right away you would say to that class?
Don't quit is number one.
Agreed.
Because there is a lot of, I have probably 100 snail mail letters telling me that the answer is no. And that was at a time when I was trying to break in. I finally got into this business in 1973, but back then there was no email or anything like that. You had to send a letter, and you usually got a letter in reply. And most times those letters came promptly because they were ground out in mass. And there were no openings, and you were told you had no experience and all of that. But you just keep plodding along, and I would sit in the corner of an arena and record games to myself and try to get better at it. And then I would send those tapes out, and they gradually got better. But I think number one is don't quit, because it's very easy to get discouraged with all the rejection. And number two is just keep working, because if your health is good, you often can outwork the competition. And I don't know what the competition was when I was trying to break in. I was just trying to make myself better. And so I did that by just doing more games to myself on a recorder, and listening to them and trying to answer the question, where's the puck, who has it, and questions like that. So I guess those would be the two main things that I would walk into your class and say, and I hope I get the chance sometime.
I hope you do, too. We've had Mike Breen came in and gave very much the same advice to them, and hopefully you will get that opportunity, because we'd love to have you.
Thank you.
The next part is, you talked about the hunger part of it. Do you sense even today with that hunger that in a lot of ways, but in different ways with information available, that you work harder today because you always want to be at the top of your game?
Well, you have a feeling that you want to walk away from a game feeling like you gave it your best,
yes,
that you put in the time necessary. And in my mind, every sport is different, but we have morning skates the day of games. And in my mind, if I don't go to a morning skate, it's like walking into a final exam and not studying. Boy, you don't feel too comfortable. And so I think that preparation, which I think is fun, is a part of what helps to make you feel like that you have done a good job by the end of the day. Now, it is a performance business. And so some days your performance is going to be better than others, just like the goaltenders we're going to see here in Montreal tonight. This may be a great day for Tuukka Rask, or it may be an awful one. Right. We don't know. Right. We know he's highly skilled, and he's won Olympic medals before, but we don't know how this day is going to be. And I don't know how my performance will be, but I'm hedging against having a bad one by preparing as best I can. And I think that's about all you can do. At the end of the day, it is a human endeavor, and you keep striving to reach the level that you are satisfied with, trusting that the public and your bosses are satisfied with it too.
We see the ratings on NBC Sportsnet and also over-the-air NBC, and the ratings have been higher than ever across the board. What has allowed hockey in this country in particular see growth along the way, in your opinion?
The athletes are so good and are so giving, not just of their time, because that sounds like something that we always wind up saying at Christmas time when they go visit hospitals. No, this is called taking care of yourself and doing the right thing so that you can put on the good show every day. We see that especially at Winter Classic time. And if you happen to see the videos that were done last year of the Washington and Chicago game in Washington at the baseball park, and you saw the concerns about the sun, and Jonathan Taves skated out after the warm-up and said, "We're good to play." And Sidney Crosby, during the course of the torrential downpour in Pittsburgh against Washington, when the referee went over and said, "Not too good, is it?" He said, "It's fine, we're going to play." They are our number one salespeople because they always are prepared to play, even though they may wind up playing 3 games in 4 nights and they may be very tired. You know that they're always going to deliver the show. And that's why somebody like Phil Jackson, who is so big into basketball, when asked one time after he had left coaching whether he was watching the NBA playoffs, said, "No, I'm watching NHL." Because there's such a sacrifice in playing 4 games in 7 days in a best 4 out of 7 and trying to make it work. I think that's what is the most engrossing thing about this sport to other people.
In order to be really good at something, I'm a firm believer you have to have a depth of passion for it. What is it about hockey that has allowed you to have a depth of passion for it that is expressed in every broadcast?
I don't know. I wish I could answer that. I know that I really love the sport, and I like so much about it. Here in Montreal, I came over an hour early just because I wanted to sit in Bell Center while it was quiet before the players went out on the ice, because this is about as close as a secular cathedral as you will get in sports here in Montreal.
Right.
There have been funerals here of Canadians players. There have been fans who have gone past coffins here as recently as a year ago when Jean Beliveau died. To be here and to have this special opportunity to be in this place, you don't want to take for granted. I'm 69. I hope I live longer, but God only knows. And so you want to make sure that you take advantage of every chance you have, especially to be in a place like this today. I've had a chance to tour your new arena at Penn State,
I was going to ask
and
you
I
about
just
that.
love it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about
back
that.
there.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because I know a couple of people have told me, hey, Doc was here to see it. What do you feel in the growth of hockey, having a Penn State and a Big Ten conference in that type of facility? What does that do for the growth?
Well, I think it just causes it to skyrocket, and I think it makes it a wonderful experience for the fans that go there and the fans at Michigan and Michigan State. Red Berenson told the story about when he was a student at Michigan. One year they handed him a ring, and Michigan hadn't had the greatest year. But he said, they gave us a ring, and I said, what's this for? And they said, that's for the Big Ten championship. Well, there were hardly any schools in the Big Ten, but Michigan was the best of the lot. And so the kids that played for Michigan got rings. Now the schools are really competitive and really good. And so for that reason, I think it's all the more a good move to have the Big Ten extend itself into hockey.
How often does Edzo mention Tommy to you or Penn State?
Off air, 3 times as much as on air, but he still gets in his shot on the air.
Hey, what'd you think of the Johnstown experience? Because, I mean, obviously, my broadcast partner for football, Jack Ham, obviously grew up in Johnstown, and I know it was a big deal to him. What did you think of that, bringing it to just a typical small-town hockey venue, whether it's Johnstown or Port Huron?
Steve, I've got to say that this is, unfortunately, I've got another interview to do, and I really want to address this question, so here it is. sadly, I have to do another one here, but I wanted to answer your question because it was one of the most joyous nights I've spent in an arena. You knew that that rink meant a lot to this town, that the town had off and on economically suffered, but that arena and their hockey team meant a lot to them. They got $150,000 to make improvements in it, but you realized there was a source of civic pride there, and you could see it on the faces of the people who came way early as soon as the gates opened to be in there and watch the nearby team from Pittsburgh play the Stanley Cup finalists. The fact that 3 ex-Johnstown Chiefs or Jets or whatever they were there wearing their glasses, and the fact that taking a lot of pride, and he has said after, Evgeny Malkin said, I still have my glasses, you know. The NHL allowed them to go 2 line rushes with their special glasses on that night in the warm-up. It was a really wonderful occasion because it did bring the NHL to a grassroots level town that had had a wonderful hockey history back half a century, and I was sure glad I got to be there.
And I apologize if we ran over at all. I want you to get to your next interview.
No, it's okay. It's just that the time sometimes is a killer, and I'll hope to talk to you and maybe see that class of yours.
I hope so, too. Thank you so much. You're absolutely one of the best in the business, and we appreciate the time you gave us.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Take
Doc.
care.
Doc Emrick from NBC Sports.